Alright guys, Sunny here, Gandhiji.io. Crypto Bendu with you once again. Giayanu, welcome everybody. Today was going to be a little bit of a mix because people getting confused with the fact that I am Gandhiji and also Crypto Bendu. So just to make things clear, I keep Gandhiji channel for English chat and Gandhiji related topics, and Crypto Bendu is my Indian channel where I speak a range of Punjabi, English and some broken Hindi as well. So that's why I've got two channels. I've never hidden that fact from anybody. Pretty much guys, you should know that Crypto Bendu is me. I am Sunny. I am the creator of the Gandhiji smart contract. It was me. I did it. Yeah, no problem at all. Just want to go through, we've got a special guest today. Somebody who is, again, we did this before, named on the website, Gandhiji.io. This is a YouTuber that I just really want to sit and listen to with you because this guy made a lot of sense to me. It's the Crypt YouTuber. So
what's up everybody, welcome to the Crypt.
Welcome.
In this video I'm going to be talking about pyramids and Ponzi's and try to help you determine where you think P3D falls.
Crypt, you know what, that'd be brilliant because there's loads and loads of people confused about where this falls. I'm not sure if you know, bruv, but Gandhiji is an exact copy and paste of the P3D smart contract. Just I removed the ambassadors and there's no administrator for the contract either. So in my mind, those two features restricted P3D from being technically what is known as decentralized. So I fixed those 2 points, Crypt. Because I haven't seen you for a while, buddy, and I miss your videos a lot. It'd be great to get your viewpoint on what's going on, with the whole space lately. You were a big inspiration, I think, to a lot of people behind P3D and behind this trustless smart contract space.
One of the things that I constantly hear and I constantly see people doing is they keep saying, oh, it's a Ponzi, it's a pyramid, without actually looking up the definition. They make these claims without actually knowing anything about the contract or about how the system works. People that are on the other side that say absolutely not, it's absolutely not a Ponzi, absolutely not a pyramid. They're just on the other side of the barn here. That's really all it comes down to. But what I want to do is I want to take a look as to how the U.S. government defines what a pyramid scheme is and what a Ponzi scheme is, and see if P3D actually falls within the bounds of those definitions.
That'd be quite logical, that would. Don't you think that'd be? Yeah, you know what, Crypt? That sounds like a logical step, man. I'm with you, brother.
And I think that that is an extremely fair way to look at P3D and to see where it falls. Yeah. So now, just before we begin, I just want to let you know that this is not legal advice. I'm not an attorney. I'm just simply a person trying to go through and try to make sense of this myself. And I figure I'd provide you guys with what I found. And along the way, I may give my opinions, but remember, my opinions don't matter. It's what you think. And I will be giving the facts most importantly. So it's your job to sift through the facts and come up with a decision for yourself. Let's go ahead and go to the first site here, pyramid schemes. Now this is where the SEC.gov talks about a pyramid scheme. And I'm going to tell you why I believe personally that P3D is absolutely not a pyramid scheme. They say clearly right here, in all bold character letters, that all pyramid schemes collapse. If you're familiar with the mathematics of P3D, then you know that it cannot possibly collapse. According to this, since all pyramid schemes collapse, P3D can't collapse. Therefore, it's not a pyramid scheme. And that's just logic and reason, guys. There's no way really around that. Based on the definition, this kind of blows it completely out of the water right then and there. At least for me. Let's go ahead and go through some of this stuff and see what we can find. I suggest you go to these sites yourself. I put a
That's the annoying thing about immutable smart contracts. They don't collapse, do they?
Link to them down in the description. In a classic pyramid scheme, participants attempt to make money solely by recruiting new participants. Only somewhat true. It's not 100% true here. In fact, if you invest late, if you're one of the later investors, you still make money on the way down as people leave. So you get dividends. Now, you actually do kind of lose money as it goes down, but there may become a point where you actually start making more dividends than you would have lost when you initially invested, usually where the promoter promises a high rate of return in a short period of time. P3D promises nothing. The only thing P3D says is that if there's volume, if there is volume, then you will get dividends. If nobody trades, then guess what? You don't get anything. There is no promise and there is no time frame given to you whatsoever. No genuine product or service actually sold. This one, we're going to have to give it to the pyramid scheme guys here.
Hold on a minute, though. We are the smart contract is selling P3D tokens or IND tokens. To me, those are, I want to keep those to get more divvies. So I'd argue that with you a little bit, Crypt, that, the product is the IND tokens, or the P3D tokens.
Is the ETH that backs it in the contract, but there is no actual service or product being sold. This is the main reason why a lot of people think it's a pyramid scheme, is because of that. The pyramid emphasis is on recruiting new participants. Not necessarily true with P3D. While recruiting new participants into P3D is a good thing, it's also a good thing when people leave for the people who are holders. So it's not necessarily all about recruiting. It's also about causing people to sell. In fact, you want people to sell, and part of the game is to cause FUD in order to make people sell.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Not if you can create volume without people selling, i.e. transfers. We've just ran, Crypt, you'd be interested in this. We just ran a Diwali special where the prize fund was built up with entries that were made into a community fund. So this community account, as it built up, it's 5 IND tokens to build up, 5 IND tokens for an entry, and that builds up the community fund. So recently, there's not been too much investment coming into our Gandhiji smart contract, but the community, with this Diwali project that we've done, we've managed to generate dividends, earnings, without any new investors. So that's another point for us there, that actually disproves it being a Ponzi scheme, and it doesn't rely on new investors. There'll be new investors coming, but it doesn't rely on them.
Pyramid schemes eventually collapse, and most investors lose their money. Okay, so fraudsters frequently promote pyramid schemes through social media, internet advertising company, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but there's also, this is another thing where people see, look, it says right here, people advertise. Well, people advertise on the internet all the time. So it's not necessarily a good argument to say that, in my opinion. Pyramid scheme promoters may go to great lengths to make the program look like a business. Well, actually, P3D doesn't do that at all. P3D does not go out of any length to make it look like it's a business. It tells you straight up what it is, such as a legitimate multi-level marketing program. P3D doesn't necessarily have a multi-level marketing program. It's basically, the way that it works is you can have somebody buy in on your masternode link, and then you get a higher cut of the dividends than everybody else when he does that. And if he continues to buy under your masternode, then yeah, you get that. But he can choose not to do that. And anybody he brings in, you don't get a cut of his stuff. It doesn't work that way. So there really is no multi-level marketing going on here. But the fraudsters use money paid by new recruits to pay off early stage investors, usually recruits as well. Well, there is the 10% fee that's being split when somebody buys in. So that one goes off to everybody, and that's general knowledge. We know that that's happening, right? We do. And so that's definitely not anywhere. You're basically agreeing to say, okay, I'll take 10% when I buy in and let everybody else have a cut of that. As long as they're doing the same, I'm okay with that, right? Or if that's your decision. At some point, the scheme gets too big. The promoter cannot raise enough money from new investors to pay early investors, and people lose their money. Like I said, that's not possible. If you're able to look at the math and know that doesn't work that way, then you can see that it's not a pyramid scheme. Okay, so here are the hallmarks of a pyramid scheme. Emphasis on recruiting. Yes, somewhat. I mean, we do want people to join. Just like if you buy Bitcoin, you want more people to buy Bitcoin, right? You want more people to buy it to raise the price. So that way you can sell it at a higher price than you bought it for. So
listening to this guy, he's a clever guy.
Paradigm doesn't necessarily mean that it's a pyramid scheme. No genuine product or service sold. Like I said before, this one we have to give to the pyramid guys. The promise of high rate of returns in a short period of time, that is false. They promise nothing. They say if there's no volume, you get nothing, and that's understood to be true, especially when you look at the mathematics. Easy money or passive income. Okay, so right here, one another thing that we kind of have to give to the pyramid guys is that there is a sort of passive income, but there's no promise of this to happen. So, I mean, technically, yes, you are trying to get a passive income, but you're also not promised that income. It's not a promise. You're not necessarily offered compensation because it's not promised. You are going to be doing little work. It would benefit you to recruit others, although you don't have to. Or placing online advertisements on obscure websites. People are advertising all over the place on YouTube and stuff for this thing. So this one, I guess we're going to have to give to the guys who believe it's a pyramid scheme that there is passive income, but it's not guaranteed. There is no promise of a high rate of return. There is no promise of passive income if there's no volume. I also want to point out that stocks that pay dividends also could be considered as a passive income. Now that is being generated from a genuine product or service being sold. I just want to point out that just because something has a passive income doesn't necessarily mean that it's a pyramid scheme.
Boom.
No demonstrated revenue from retail sales. So this one, again, we may have to give to the pyramid guys only because there is no revenue from sales. And it's what it's saying here is ask to see documents, prove that you're making.
If you, as I said, Crypt, if you took the tokens as the product, then the revenue is generated from sales of the product, which would be the tokens. So, I mean, listen, I'm not going to argue with you. At the end of the day, I know you come to your
money from sales or something like that. Show the company generates revenue from selling its products or services to people outside the program. As a general rule, a legitimate multi-level marketing companies derive revenue primarily from selling products, not from recruiting members. Honestly, it's true. There's nothing being sold here. We're really just putting money into this contract, and we expect other people to either buy or sell or transfer or something like that in order for us to make money. Complex commission structure. Be concerned unless commissions are based on products or services that you or your recruits will sell to people outside the program. If you do not understand how you will be compensated, be cautious. So this one is not, I would have to say, does not go to the pyramid guys because it's not a complex structure. It's very simple how the system works, and it's extremely transparent to that end. Because of that,
shame you can't say that about A-Bot, isn't it? I mean,
say that the pyramid guys do not get this. And of course, well, like I said from the very start, all pyramid schemes collapse. P3D can't collapse. Logic follows. It's not a pyramid scheme. When fraudsters attempt to make money solely by recruiting new participants in the program, that is a pyramid scheme, and there is only one possible mathematic result: collapse. Like I said, I can't stress it enough. We went through here, we found some red flags, but honestly, there's a lot of things that are not pyramid schemes that would also provide red flags within this structure, but you most likely wouldn't consider them a pyramid scheme. Just because it has a red flag, in my opinion, doesn't necessarily mean that it is, especially if we have this statement here. P3D is a zero-sum game, so
we do have that statement.
There are going to be winners, there's going to be losers. Of course, if you're a loser right now, if you hold on long enough, you may eventually become a winner. And if you sell, and you're willing to sell at a loss, well, that's your choice. So it's not necessarily a collapse of the system. It's more or less that people are moving on from it, and they aren't happy with the outcome because nothing's really promised.
See, people have been saying about Gandhiji that it's dead. There's 135.9755 Ethereum in the contract right now. That's believers' money. Believers, and believe me, our project has been fudded in India by the best of them. Been fudded. But the people have learnt the truth. The people that believe in our community, they've learnt the technology. You can't FUD them anymore. You can't scare them anymore. You can't tell your lies about it being a Ponzi scheme and expect them to believe it because they've educated themselves. What have you lot done? Sucked up to David Peterson? Crack on, guys. Well, look, I'm just proving to you here about Ponzi schemes and pyramids. Some people have been saying that I'm promoting Ponzi's and pyramids. So I'm just clearing that up for you here. Look, and you're not going to listen to me if I say it. So I've got a friend over here, the Crypt.
If things go stagnant in P3D, well, then there's no return. We know that. And so people are like, well, crap, I guess I'm going to have to sell. And so they sell. And that's their choice. That's the point. Anyway, guys, I personally believe, and based on this, especially, these statements right here, is kind of throws the pyramid definition out the window.
So it's not a pyramid,
we do see a little bit of red flags here in the red flags list. But personally, I think there's a lot of stuff out there that would also flag some of this stuff, but are not actual pyramid schemes. You'll have to take that information for what it's worth and make your own decision. All right, so next we're going to move on to Ponzi schemes. So we're going to talk about what a Ponzi scheme is and see if P3D actually falls under this definition.
Tell us.
A Ponzi scheme is an investment fraud that involves the payment of purported returns to existing investors from funds contributed by new investors. Now, like we talked about in the pyramid scheme, we saw that this was only partly true. So it's not just funds from new investors, it's also funds from older investors. Ponzi scheme organizers often solicit new investors by promising to invest funds in opportunities claimed to generate high returns with little or no risk. There is no promises in P3D. It's absolutely a risk. I mean, it's not told to you that there are low risks. So in many Ponzi schemes, the fraudsters focus on attracting new money to make promised payouts to earlier stage investors to create the false appearance that investors are profiting from a legitimate business. Again, nothing is being promised. So, I mean, so this paragraph right here about what a Ponzi scheme is just, it's not really falling under this definition. I'm maintain my non-bias here. So couple key words here is often, right? Ponzi scheme often solicit, and also says in many Ponzi schemes. So not saying all of them do this. So there is that for those who believe that this is a Ponzi scheme. In order to maintain my non-bias, I do want to point that out. Why do Ponzi schemes collapse? So if it sounds like there is a requirement for a collapse in order for something to be a Ponzi scheme. So why do Ponzi schemes collapse? With little or no legitimate earnings, Ponzi schemes are required a consistent flow of money from new investors to continue. It says right here that Ponzi schemes require a consistent flow of money from new investors to continue. This is absolutely not true for P3D. In fact, if I were able to hold on to my P3D and everybody sold off, I would make more money as everybody left. So
what you mean, just have strong hands?
I don't even need new investors. If people want to sell off, then they can. Go for it. Ponzi schemes tend to...
Imagine if you could just get people sending each other tokens, transferring them to each other that would benefit other people. And maybe if you could get them to transfer these tokens for some kind of good cause, maybe that's a whole other aspect there, Crypt, that you could add to it. It's not just waiting for people to sell, is it? It's not just, that's just one small part of an economy. If this is if this truly is a decentralized token economy, like P3D wanted to call it in the first place, and like Gandhiji's called it all the way through, then there's gonna be transfers. Everybody missed the transfers. I don't know.
Collapse when it becomes difficult to recruit new investors or when large number of investors ask to cash out. If everybody wanted to cash out right now, they could. Of course, the coin value would drop, right? Just like anything else you're invested in Bitcoin. If everybody started selling right now, the price would drop and the people who sold off last would be the losers, right? So it doesn't sound like it's stepping up to be a Ponzi scheme in my opinion. How do Ponzi schemes get their name? Nobody really cares about that. We're trying to define what's going on here. All right, so I don't know if like I said right here, this kind of blows it out of the cake here. It says right here that Ponzi schemes require this, but in order to maintain my unbias, I'm going to go through the red flags and I'm going to go through here and try to see if we can't check some of these off when it comes to P3D. Look for these warning signs. High investment returns with little or no risk. It sounds like these are going to be almost the same thing as a pyramid scheme. High investment returns with little or no risk. They're not promising anything. There is risk. It is a risky investment. Be highly suspicious of any guaranteed investment opportunity. They are not guaranteeing anything. Overly consistent returns. Investment values tend to go up and down over time, especially those offering potentially high returns. Be suspect of an investment
like 0.7 a day
that continues to generate regular positive returns regardless of overall conditions. The Ponzi guys, you guys don't get this flag because it doesn't generate regular positive returns regardless of overall market conditions.
Now, if you want that, you'll need to visit arbitraging.co. They got that Ponzi return stuff going on over there, but if you want that, if that's what you're looking for, go check that out.
Depending on how the market's going, it can go up or it can go down and you get dividends. Well, not necessarily, because as it goes down, the token value loses and you're not going to get enough dividends to cover that loss, at least not until a certain point. But if it stays sideways, then guess what? There is no gain. So that is a market condition where you don't get a positive regardless of what's going on. Okay, so this does not count. I'm sorry, but Ponzi guys, you don't get this red flag. Unregistered investments. Okay, so here we're talking these two flags right here. I'm going to have to give to the Ponzi guys, but
Protest, man.
Give them in protest, and here's why. Because P3D is a decentralized app on the Ethereum blockchain.
Exactly.
And I fully believe that decentralization renders licenses and registrations obsolete. If this thing cannot be swayed by any human, in my opinion, there doesn't need to be a license and there doesn't need to be a registration in order for it to operate. Because what you're asking then is you're asking a robot who's programmed a specific way, hey, robot, would you please register with the SEC? And then they're like, command not recognized. That's pretty much how it would go down. Secretive and or complex strategies. There is absolutely nothing secretive when it comes to P3D, and there's absolutely nothing complex about it. It is very simple and straightforward.
Hold on a minute. Are there any secretive and... oh, yeah, there is, isn't it? ARB. Oh, dear.
Avoid investments you do not understand. Of course, I completely agree. Avoid investments you do not understand. If you don't understand P3D, then you probably shouldn't invest in it, or for which you cannot get complete information as a good rule of thumb. I'm sorry, but Ponzi guys, you don't get this one because it is the most transparent coin out there. Issues with paperwork. Do not accept excuses regarding why you cannot review information about an investment in writing. Well, if you want to know what you have, and you want to know what other people have, you can go to the Ethereum blockchain, pull up any address.
Hold on, Crypt. That's definitely an ARB red flag right there.
Look up their token holdings. Look up how many dividends they have.
No, you can't do none of that. They're not showing you none of that over there.
You can look up all this stuff. So issues with paperwork, Ponzi guys, you don't get this flag, unfortunately. Difficulty receiving payments. Anybody in P3D right now knows that there's absolutely no problem getting payments whatsoever. So Ponzi guys, you don't get this red flag. Let's go through the list and see what we found. So what do Ponzi guys get? Well, it looks like the only thing that Ponzi guys get out of this list of red flags is the one that I gave to them in protest.
Give it to them in protest. Give it to them. It don't mean nothing. The whole fact of the matter is about decentralization is that I believe that it renders licensing and registration obsolete. Tell them to go check the administrator of the smart contract, innit? If they've got to find someone, because... I'm not the administrator of that smart contract, so they can go and search for the owner of the website as well. Yeah, go and do that. Go and do that. You know what? You want to go and look for the owner of Gandhiji.io website and get him to look into licensing. That's what you need to do. And
it's just not necessary. So I'm sorry to say, but then this is all my opinion here.
Mine too.
This does not seem like a Ponzi scheme to me.
Not at all.
I just want to cover real quick that in my code review for P3D,
complete, thorough code review. Well done. Thank you very much for like I put on the website, for spreading your knowledge. Crypt. There's so many people in the world that you know should appreciate and respect you. Well done, man.
I did state that I believe that this was a pyramid scheme, but now that I look at it, I don't think that this is a pyramid or a Ponzi scheme. I believe that P3D does not fall under either of those definitions. On the P3D website...
Proof of weak hands doesn't. I'm sorry, guys, but FOMO 3D, you need to look through this video and strap it up. But Proof of weak hands, that definitely does not fall under the category of a Ponzi or a pyramid scheme. In my opinion, or in this guy's opinion, and in a lot of people's educated opinion, it doesn't.
The developers have provided us with some answers down here at the bottom that says, is this a scheme? And in my opinion, this accurately represents what is going on with P3D. Quite a bit of the feedback, read attacks on our platform are claims of the product being a pyramid or Ponzi scheme. The proof of weak hands mechanics don't actually match any of these labels, but we understand it's hard to grasp this initially. We recognize that a trustless smart contract managing value in this way simply was not possible before this point in computing history.
Note that it's a trustless smart contract. That's what they're called. Blockchain for what is best. My brother, they're not virtual deposit contracts. There's no virtualness about it. Everything is real. It's a trustless smart contract.
There is no scheming here at all. It's upfront, honest, and completely transparent. The way we like to describe this to point out that in any places where we use pyramid imagery, the pyramid is mirrored with an upside down replica in the sky to represent that we've shifted the focal point between the two tips. In the case of a standard pyramid scheme, the first investors benefit the most heavily from the game as newer investors funnel money into the top. In a reverse pyramid scheme, the goal is upended to try to exponentially grow by trying to reward the newer investors the most.
So basically, the owners of P3D or the creators of P3D themselves are saying it's not a pyramid. So all those people out there saying that the owners themselves called it a pyramid and call it a Ponzi, no, that is incorrect information. This is the information provided on the website. They do not believe it to be a pyramid or a Ponzi. They got two triangles, turn them upside down and pointed them on top of each other. Hourglass. Hourglass. You see, hourglass in mathematics is actually known as the infinity symbol. So you want to look that up, and realistically, the infinity symbol, an hourglass, has no pyramid shape in it. If you want pyramid shapes, go and have a look at Arbitrage's logo. You'll find some pyramids there.
In our case, neither is true. We simply punish everyone. That's hilarious. The shape instead forms an hourglass with both sides fighting constantly. Like an hourglass, the flowing sands ETH volume between the two pyramids is the primary component of this game, rewarding neither the first investors nor the last, but simply everyone who holds the token as hard as they can through the many price fluctuations. Call this an hourglass model if you must assign a title. At least that would be accurate. So there you go, guys. I hope that all made sense. Hopefully you guys can think logically about this for yourself. I gave my opinions pretty heavily throughout this entire reading.
Well done,
I really
Kurt.
don't mean to sway your ideas, but I have to speak my piece. You know, I have to say my piece. I have to let you guys know what I think about it. I feel that this is the most accurate representation of what P3D is, and it just doesn't necessarily follow any of these definitions. I mean, some things stand out, yes, and that's probably why there's a whole lot of backlash on this.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it is a Ponzi or a pyramid. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching The Crypt. Now, being a new YouTuber, I'm not able to monetize my videos, so I absolutely get no money for this. I'm not required to receive money for any of this, but if you like the content and you appreciate it, feel free to leave me a tip. I left my links to my Ether wallet down below and also my Bitcoin wallet if you want to tip me with that. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and or subscribe.
Believe it or not, Crypt, if you check your wallet, I sent you a load of IND tokens a good while back, about 450 IND tokens, just as a gift, and I asked nothing in return for them. I just sent them because I really appreciated how you spread your knowledge and how you have helped this space, be it with P3D, be it with virtual deposit contracts, be it trustless smart contracts. I got nothing but respect for you, brother. Jai Hind. And you know, to P3D guys, if you've lasted this long through the video, got nothing against you guys either, man. I love you guys. A little bit cultish sometimes, but you know, it's all one love. You know, we share the same code on different sides of the planet. Why would I have any animosity towards you at all? So listen, I mean,
if you like this content, and I'll be sure to release some more. We got some more good stuff coming out about P3D in order to further legitimize the mathematics behind this, and also run some simulations to show you some of the stuff that goes on within the P3D contract. And I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. What's up?
I just wanted to go through and give him the respect to playing the full video there, Crypt. I appreciate that, man, so much. That's it. I'm just rambling on now, guys. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Gandhi ji to Neptune.